Hello, hello. How's
Testing 1, 2, 3
Ah.
for sound and clarity.
Here we go. Let's start it off. Let's start the show off right with a lot of power. And 3, 2, 1.
I am love in a rainbow.
Welcome back to Faithfully Ever After. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maya.
And today we're going to talk about the space between us.
Not
Not
the-
this space.
Yeah.
And not this space. It's space. Oh, don't move. Don't
But
do that
before
again.
we do that, Maya, why don't you jump in and give us our little scripture for the day?
So it's Ecclesiastes 4, verse 12, and it says, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken.
Goosebumps. That's very detailed. Maybe we can break that down for a minute, guys. What do you think?
Our entire existence is based on this. No, it really is. At the end of the day, even our wedding rings are actually designed on this
Verse.
On this verse,
Yes.
yeah.
We literally had our wedding bands custom made with 3 to resemble 3 chords, which basically the illustration with that is that God is in it, not just us. We represent one each, and God is the 3rd chord. And is exactly that. It says, one can be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves, but a cord of 3 strands, when God is in it, is not quickly broken.
And we see that all the time. It's where they're lacking that 3rd strand, we see the separation.
I will say that these words are very powerful. I think, does this still affect someone if they're in denial? If they don't see themselves as, I need someone's help? What about if they're very independent and they don't feel like they need anyone in general? Like you guys said, 1, 2, God. What about those people that feel like, I can do everything by myself?
Well, they find themselves in a situation at some point in their marriage, or really their marriage is not built on anything, any substance, right? It's just there. And sometimes people are married just to be married, and they continue to be married because there's other benefits to it, raise the kids, financial benefits and whatnot. And there is no real core to their marriage.
Well, let's have fun with this one, guys. So, Maya, we're going to start with you. What happens when couples drift apart and how to close that gap before it feels permanent? Permanent is a scary word in a relationship.
Yeah,
Tell me.
recognize it, see it happening, and don't just be like, it's going to get better. I've honestly seen this time and time again with many couples. They think that it's going to get better. It's okay. They think this is just a season. No, you're in this together, and you need to recognize that right away. And before that distance gets further and further, you need to identify it and stop it from getting so far that then you can't get back to each other, right? Like we know lots of couples struggling where, it was, well, we just went through this and, so I'm just trying to give it time. And then it's another thing that life happens. Well, we're trying to just get through this moment. And it's no, prioritize yourselves before you both start to have these independent lives of each other. And it's so far gone that you can't get it back.
Yeah, just imagine you're on a raft in the middle of the ocean. You guys are on 2 separate rafts. So instead of bringing the rafts together so you guys can navigate the seas, you guys are just staying idle and just waiting. And the rafts are just drifting apart. And at some point they get so far, you're never going to find your way back. You
I love
just
that.
can't.
I love that. Look at you.
That was good. That was good. Yeah.
Did that just come on the fly? That was fantastic.
I'm not just a pretty face.
So I will say now, recognizing when you're growing apart instead of together, this is something I need to ask you guys. How do you even recognize something like this if your mindset is different than your partner's?
Some people are okay with it. Some people don't know it. That's the relationship that they're in, and they don't know. And I think it starts to become evident, maybe, when you start going through some difficult times, right? And some challenges. Now, all of a sudden, people who are recognizing it will kind of come back together, and they'll be able to find themselves, and plug God into it. But not everybody believes in God. So it's different for everyone.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. What do you mean doesn't believe in God?
Well, not everybody has faith. Not everyone's a Christian. Not everyone
Everyone
believes
has
in God.
faith.
That's right.
Okay. Yes.
But the core foundation of marriage was actually designed by God. The idea of a promise before God to each other and the principles of marriage, the foundation is biblical, right?
Okay. So do you think that this is a marriage kind of thing, or do you think it's just a human being kind of thing? because you can be married and unhappy. You can also be single and unhappy. So what do you mean by that?
Sorry, what do you mean?
What do you mean? I want you to
Well,
break down
no,
what you
God,
said.
God designed us to be together. You know, that union, that union with God in it. When we make that promise, for marriage, it's before God, a promise to put each other first and to be there for each other through thick
There
or
it is.
thin, good or bad, no matter what it is, till death do us part.
Right, but when you're tied up in your worldly things, then that doesn't always come. That's not always first.
Well, that brings me to perfect. That brings me to my next one for you. The dangers of silent resentment or the silent treatment. Now, I don't mean, I'm not talking to you because I'm not talking to you. It's the small things inside that continue to build. How do you guys avoid that silent resentment that all of a sudden, when you explode, that other partner says, I don't even know where this is coming from?
Right. We get so caught up in life where we're busy on our working, either working for somebody, working on ourselves, working on business. You get caught up, vanity, and then you're living life independently and on your own, even though you're with someone, and your partner on the other side just wakes up one day and says enough's enough, and they have that blow up.
I think you got to recognize the signs too, like the early signs. Conversations are getting shorter if you're, a couple who usually goes to bed together at night and one's going to bed and the other one's staying off on their own, or, maybe somebody's on their phone all the time while the other one's, you need to be able to recognize those signs, speak about them before the little things become the big things.
Yeah, we've had these conversations as well. Even when we're sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing, we sit together. So it's, and we had that discussion. She's like, I sit on one side and you sit on the other side. So I know we're both doing our own things, but there's 12 feet in between us. Come and sit here. And,
I'm like, get over here right now.
and I'm like, yes, boss.
haven't
And
seen
I
you
get
all
my
day.
stuff together and I go and I say, but,
I
we've
haven't
learned.
seen you all day. I miss you. I
Yeah.
need you here. Just
So-
presents.
Exactly. And we've learned to navigate that now where, there's,
That can heal though, right?
yeah, of course.
You
It's
can
just,
feel the energy.
Yes.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So we'll
And
sit
there's-
next to each other and, she'll be doing her thing. She'll be doing homework or whatever it is that she's navigating. I'll be doing mine. Sometimes it's nothing. And, but we're together. So
And
we
there's
made,
little things too, like you love to play the Nintendo
yeah.
from time to time, and I'm like, that literally makes me happy for you. I'm like, you deserve that disconnect at the end of the day to just unwind. And I know some couples who are like, oh, like video games, and so it's important that we feel that we talk about it.
Yeah.
There's, identify it. Are there boundaries around it if there need to be? But then how do we do it in a way that we are still
Right.
connecting through it, right?
I'm just
So-
not allowed to play on my own. I need to be sitting next to her to play.
And that's beautiful. She's your cheerleader. What about reconnecting through vulnerability and shared purpose? So, what about when you, Alex, primarily you, Alex, because you put everything on your shoulders? What happens when you take that off, put your shield down, put your armor down, and become vulnerable? Do you feel like you're going to get burned? Or do you feel finally I could just be me?
No, I know I can always be me. I never have a sense of being burned. I know that there's always going to be, comfort in my wife's arms, so to speak. And so I never worry about any of that.
What about for you, Maya? Do you feel like do you feel you're at a point now when you want to be vulnerable, you're not going to get taken advantage of? Not against you, Alex, just in general. In general.
like in our marriage.
Within your marriage and maybe within your little bubble that you've created. Do you feel like you can be fully vulnerable?
100%. Absolutely. I know that my husband is for me. I know that the people around me that I allow in our circle, that they're for me. And so, yeah, definitely 100%. I'd rather be the one to talk about it, face it. Let's be open and honest. And because I trust the people that I have around me, that I would go to, that I could be vulnerable with.
So, guys, because you've just stepped into this space, the space between us, now that you're at the forefront of it, how are you navigating the first steps, getting into helping others?
Yeah, we have several couples that we are literally walking with side by side who are in the thick of fighting for their marriage, recognizing, I would say actually, separated, but have come to realize that this is not really what they wanted. They've come to recognize, how they could have done better and what what they could do better if they would just be given another chance.
But
And
there's also people that we're walking through where it's one-sided,
I
where
think it always starts one-sided.
yeah, it's right. It starts one-sided where it's only one of the two that want to fix
Yes.
it and invite God into it. And then, I mean, there are other stories as well, without saying any names of, I've heard of couples that, one spouse is hanging in there, and after years and years of, I'm not sure if turmoil is the right word, but after years and years of difficulties in their marriage and in their relationship because of, substance abuses and whatnot, all of a sudden God has come
Mm-hmm.
through, and they are more powerful together than ever. They put God first in their marriage. They're Christian people, and
We spoke about it when Kevin was on, that one of the hardest things to overcome is when trust is broken, and how that can take years. He said the average was, I think he said 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, to repair.
I
And
disagree with that though, because once you're cheated on or
yeah,
you have an affair or whatever the case is, I don't think that ever goes away. No matter how much healing you do. Am I wrong?
well, listen,
Yeah.
yeah, I
yeah,
said
I'm
I
wrong.
said it.
100%.
You think I'm wrong?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, I
Yeah,
said it to a
100%.
table. Yeah, I was sitting with people.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because there's things there's factors. So what if I'm withholding from my husband? What if I'm not giving it to him because my life is so stressful or I have stuff going on? What if there was a medical condition involved where I literally can't? I was involved, and I know some of these situations where I was involved in an accident, and it's years later, and there's, physical things that withhold you, right? And then your husband, out of, the Bible talks about not withholding yourself from your spouse, that my body is yours and yours is mine. And there's moments when, literally, I forgot what I was going to say. I just,
Oh no.
And that's this episode of Faithfully Ever After.
Let me get it back. Let me get it back. It was so good. Sorry. No. Let me get it back. Let me get it back.
Thanks for joining us.
Take your time. Go. You were like ripping it there.
Yeah. So there's moments where, out of a physical need, your spouse can go, and it's literally just physical. It's not emotional, and it can happen. And if I can have any grace for what my spouse is going through, let's say there's a physical thing holding me back. If my spouse is having to walk through that with me, and it's years, a journey of me not being able to fulfill those physical needs, then, there's got to be some grace in that it wasn't an emotional, you were looking for something else emotionally, but there was a physical need that you were that was being withheld, right? And so I really do believe that forgiveness, I really do believe that forgiveness can come from.
Yeah, I had a conversation with two people this week actually, and both of them were going off on how, once trust is broken, it can never be regained. And I looked and I said, "You're wrong.
Absolutely.
We worship a God that can do anything. So do you or do you not have faith? Like, there's so many of these components to it. Do you or do you not have faith? Are you plugging God into it or not?"
What I've said to a lot of couples is, I'm not asking you to trust your spouse. I'm asking you to trust that your God can help your spouse. So I get that in this moment, in this difficult circumstance, how can I ever trust them again? But right now, I'm not asking you to trust them yet. I'm asking you to trust that God can work in them and that God can restore this.
That's a soundbite. Wow. Guys, one more thing for this episode before we call it quits. Get out of here. The space between us, I have to add 3 characters into this, and you tell me how a couple can navigate these: anxiety, stress, depression. Those are 3 very big elements, and I'd like for you to tell me, how can people navigate those in a marriage?
I'm sorry, but she was literally on top of me and she's tied up in the thing. Oh man, sorry. Okay, anxiety, depression, and
Yeah, and stress. How are people supposed to deal with that in a marriage? If, let's say, someone comes to you and says, "Look, I got anxiety, I got stress, I got depression. I feel like I can't give my spouse my all because of that." What do you guys say?
yeah, that's a me one, because I definitely have moments of anxiety.
I'm still figuring it out.
There's nothing wrong
No,
with that.
but you
There's
got to
nothing wrong with
communicate
that.
it, and you got to be willing to work on it. So, somebody we know, there was a long season of depression. It was years. And so the person on the other side is like, this is not just a season. This is like, we've been suffering this for a long time. And at that point, then your spouse needs to go get help. You're not meant to, like, if this is something that's debilitating and long-term affecting your marriage, then you have to be willing to go and deal with it. You know, for me, I have
The person who has it or the person who's receiving it?
the person who has it.
Okay.
Sometimes both, depending on
Yeah,
how it's
exactly.
affecting
Yeah,
the
yeah.
marriage.
Yes. But if I recognize that I all of a sudden, you know, have this severe depression that's not going away or anxiety that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, then you need to go and get the help to deal with that. You know,
What about if you're in denial, though? What about if it's not so easy for you to say, succumb to that, I'm the one who has an issue? Because there are couples that they'll point to their spouse and say, no, 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 it was you who caused the problem, not me. What do you say to those people? They have to recognize.
yeah, I think that goes back to the core thing in a relationship being good communication. And, you know, and everything being said and done from a place of love. Like, you know, if it was Alex struggling with depression or anxiety, I would say, you know, I love you and it hurts me to see you like this all the time. And I don't want this for you. You shouldn't have to feel this way.
Right. But it's a big struggle when somebody will insist that they don't have a problem. They insist that there's nothing wrong, and they insist that whatever it is they're dealing with, they can deal with it on their own. And it's a choice. How do you navigate that? Because that is the impossible.
Yeah.
hard.
If somebody's not willing and they're being completely stuck there, then yeah, there's
That's
nothing
where-
you can do.
And I need you to read that last line
That's
for
where
me
you
now.
pray through it. That's where you're like, God, I need
Yeah,
you
sorry,
to
that's
help
what-
them recognize.
That's
when
what I was
Yes.
about to say. You
Right?
need to pray for it, and that's where
in
you
our own strength, in our own
Yes.
ability, we can't,
Yeah.
but God can.
Read that last line for me. It makes sense now.
It's not always the distance that breaks us. It's what we stop doing to reach each other.
That's right. So if we are putting in our all,
Yeah.
we will achieve what we came to do, and that's to love each other, to love God, and to have three strands
That,
in this relationship.
yeah, that aren't easily broken.
What is our tagline, our contacts, Alex?
rooted in faith, growing in love. You can find us on all of our social.
I don't know what that was. Let's start
Yeah?
that all over
No?
again.
Oh.
We are rooted in faith, growing in love.
Wow. First of all,
Where can they find us?
you can find us on our link tree, Faithfully Ever After, which will lead you to all of our social platforms.
Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. We have Instagram. Do we have TikTok?
We do.
Yeah.
We have
We do,
TikTok.
we do.
And we have our website,
That's right.
which is,
FaithfullyEverAfter.ca.
what can people find there? Let's take a moment to do a little plug for ourselves. What can they find on our website?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You made the website.
Have you been on the website?
No, we've actually
I know
got-
what's on the website.
Yeah.
Have you been on the website?
Yeah, you can reach out to us directly there. If there's like, if
Yeah.
you wanted to reach out and ask questions, there's a form you can fill out there and reach out directly to us. There's also information there about a course that we offer with couples called Symbis, Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. It is not just for pre-marriage, but it'll actually work you through during marriage, all of it. So that's really great. And
And for more serious situations, we also have Kevin Copeland,
Yep.
which was on our podcast a little while back, and we will direct you, and you can direct yourself through our website to him and his page.
yes, to an actual psychotherapist who is professionally equipped to deal with some of the more challenging
Yeah,
things.
and we are currently building a little bit of a resource back office there, where we'll be able to share some tools with you guys as we move on our journey.
And we always say on every episode,
Rooted in faith,
Growing in love.
that's faithfully ever after.
until next time.
Goodbye.